Maritime endeavors are a metaphor for business. You need to have solid crew. You need to have a sound craft. You need to have a good plan, float plan. You need to know what your destination might be, and you need to plan for contingencies, bad weather, mechanical difficulty. All of these things happen in business.
Welcome to the Leader's Edge podcast. I'm Zach Ewell, podcast producer here at Leader's Edge. In this episode of our Personal Lines podcast series, Associate Editor Chris Hann interviews Jack Butcher, Chairman and CEO of Vantage Insurance Partners. Butcher shares personal stories and reasons why he spent part of his career volunteering with fire and emergency rescue services, how his life of volunteering draws parallels to his career in insurance, lessons he's learned from mentors, and so much more. Give it a listen.
We are here with Jack Butcher, Chairman and CEO of Vantage Insurance Partners in New York. Jack, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Good to be with you, Chris. Thank you.
You had mentioned that you've had a long involvement with fire and rescue services outside of what has been a very busy insurance career. What inspired you to volunteer your time with such an endeavor?
Well, thanks. It's shrouded in a long-held belief that I think really underpins the insurance industry, which is to be in the service of others and our communities. It started, frankly, when I was a 12-year-old, I saw fire rescue personnel rendering aid to my mother. And when she passed away, I decided that was not only something that I felt very strongly I wanted to do, but it was something that I felt was a neat way to support the community when, in fact, those needs emerge in the darkest hours for people. So the ability to help remedy that, I think, is my way of giving to the community, and I've spent over 40 years doing it.
Wow. So that stemmed from your mother's death, it sounds like. Yes,
she was involved in a fire, was severely burned, and then subsequently passed away. But seeing the crews work really gave me a consumer view of that service. And I have fortunately or unfortunately been in a position to be able to make that same kind of difference for other people throughout those 40 years.
I'm wondering if your experience in emergency services has informed your business life and career.
Without question, Chris. I think we work in an industry which, in order to really add the assurance and really sort of decision security for our clients, it's a team-based process. And while the consequences of failure may not be as dire as they might be in sort of an emergency services or military environment, it does teach you the value of teamwork, the importance of sound execution, the value and the power of decision making, decisiveness, and the need to continually train and be very, very good at your craft.
I don't want to harp on this really horrible experience that you must have had, but I'm wondering how else that shaped you. And how you even begin to overcome such a thing.
Well, we all have our moments and tragedies in life, so that's not unique to me at all. But I consider myself to be one of the lucky ones, and I say I'm one of the lucky ones because I can actually try to answer that through service. And so many of my peers and the people who I respect in this industry, they serve their communities in other arguably more impactful ways. This is my way. I will say that it's also a terrific perspective giver. When someone comes wheeling into my office saying I'm having a major crisis, business crisis, yes, but it helps me in my reaction to say, we're going to solve this. We've got this. We'll get this all sorted out. This is pestilent, not problematic. So there are so many crossovers in this environment that we work in every day in this industry, and I learn a lot from the training and the people I get to work with in fire rescue.
You also told me you're an avid sailor. Being on the water is, and I'm quoting, your decompression chamber.
Yes, it
What
is
is
my.
it? What is it about the water? What is it about being on the water for you?
I find that maritime endeavors are a metaphor for business. You need to have solid crew. You need to have a sound craft. You need to have a good plan, float plan. You need to know what your destination might be, and you need to plan for contingencies, bad weather, mechanical difficulty. All of these things happen in business.
I want to ask a little bit about your own mentors. I'm wondering if you have had a single most influential business mentor.
I am quite blessed in my career, Chris, to have been exposed to many, arguably perhaps too numerous to name.
Hmm.
But these are people who were generous enough with their time and consideration to offer me guidance and advice along the way and kept the door open for me to go back to them for that guidance and advice. And I feel like that is a tax that we must pay as leaders in this industry, to pay it forward. You can't pay it back, so we have to pay it forward. And if somebody did it for us, I think we have an obligation to do it for somebody else. And new emerging talent in this business, no one gets there on their own, as one of my mentors said to me. And so I view it as, we can all, I'm learning every single day. I still am creating new mentors in my career, at this stage. And that's the best advice I can give anyone is keep creating mentors and be a mentor.
You also told me earlier that one of your mentors taught you to never stop laughing. That is a lesson that I don't know that I've ever heard an insurance executive utter. Why do you find that lesson so important?
It was it was said to me, at a time when I was intensely trying to build, a career as a young, emergent producer in this business. And my mentor said, take your job, not yourself, seriously.
Hmm.
And that was an instructive comment that we have to take seriously the work we do for our clients and for each other. But it's actually therapeutic to every once in a while laugh at yourself. Let's face it, humans are imperfect by design. We make mistakes. As long as we don't waste those mistakes and we learn from them, life is full of grandeur and humor. Let's not waste that either. And so I find that in the workplace, people want to be around people who are really enjoy each other and laugh not in a critical sense, but laugh in a constructive sense with each other. And there's a time to really double down and work hard, but there's a time to laugh hard too.
You told me you grew up in Connecticut and you're back in Connecticut now in Darien. Is Darien where you grew up?
I grew up through high school in a small town called Wilton, Connecticut.
Tell me about growing up in Wilton, Connecticut.
At the time, as is the case with the rest of the world, right? The world has changed and evolved, and things have developed. But at the time, it was a one part commuter town for the city of New York and one part farming community. There were actually
Okay.
active dairy farms in Wilton, so it was not a big town at that time. It has obviously since developed dramatically. The farms are gone, the houses have come. But it was a wonderful small town feel, and it was where I first started my involvement with the fire service. It was a
Okay.
volunteer department in those days.
I'm wondering where the business acumen came from because unless your father's in the business, nobody says they grew up wanting to go into insurance. How did that happen for you?
Again, tipping a hat to my mentors. One of my early mentors said to me, "Your personality is such that whatever." This was when I was in university and trying to figure out what I wanted to do when I grew up. He said, "The best job for you will be to be in a business where it's your business to be involved in everybody else's business." And as an insatiably curious person, that left me with three. I interviewed with three different organization types in coming out of university: the CIA, the banking industry, and the insurance industry.
Wow. Wow.
And I won't bore you with what could have or should have been, but I took the first job I was offered, and that was with the Chubb Insurance Company.
Well, let me ask you about that. You've been in the industry for 30 plus years. What has kept you in the business?
The world has hurled new risks and new needs at companies and at employers with just increasing acceleration. And to be at the epicenter of that and helping clients navigate all of those changes and all of those evolving risks and business dynamics has been truly fascinating. So you constantly have to be learning. New operational needs, new geopolitical stressors, new competitive blocks. All of these things I think are fascinating to learn how to navigate, and it keeps you nimble.
And a question I ask everyone when we do these interviews, since we're talking about Leaders Edge magazine, what gives you your leader's edge in this business? What makes you an effective leader?
I actually love running to the problems. I find that most leaders, we don't do our best work when things are going well. Like that's an output when things are going well. Where we really earn our medal is when things aren't going well, when people are having problems, when people are struggling, when people need help. And it could be something as simple as a business decision, or it could be something far more grave. That to me has been where the greatest leaders I've ever worked with and worked for have created the most memorable experiences for me. And that, I think, is sort of the greatest leadership gift we can give back into the organizations we work for and the industry we contribute to.
Running to a problem sounds like it came from an emergency services worker.
Yet another parallel.
That was Associate Editor Chris Hann interviewing Jack Butcher, Chairman and CEO of Vantage Insurance Partners. I hope you enjoyed it. For more episodes of our Personal Lines podcast series, please subscribe or go to leadersedge.com.